Welcome everybody, I've got a 2025 Lowrider S in the shop today that I'm going to be putting our new exhaust on. This will fit all the new style Softails that come with that 2-in-1 exhaust system. It's a very simple install as far as slip-ons goes. It's going to be one of the more simple ones out there. As far as customization goes, there is a wide variety of different things that you can do to this muffler to make it your own. It's going to come in either chrome or black, and then we'll have a straight cut or a slash cut tip, which you can also get in chrome or black. And then we'll have two different baffle options. We'll have our zombie, and then we'll have our new red line performance baffle. So again, just a wide variety of different things that you can do to make this muffler your own. And last thing I want to share is obviously there was an exhaust style change going from 2024 to 2025. The older models from 2018 to 2024 had that shotgun style dual exhaust, where the newer models, except for two of them currently, they all have this new 2-in-1 style exhaust. And really what I want to get at here is on the new 2-in-1 styles, the catalytic converter is in the head pipe, where on that older style dual exhaust, the catalytic converter is actually in the mufflers. So really what that means is when you did a simple exhaust or slip-on exchange on that older style 2-in-2 exhaust, you got a very dynamic sound difference, just because you're essentially doing two things. You're getting rid of the mufflers, but you're also getting rid of that catalytic converter. So the sound difference you got from just doing a simple slip-on exchange was very dynamic. Where on the new style, you're still gonna get a big sound difference, but it's not gonna be quite as big of a jump as it was on those older styles, just because you're still maintaining that catalytic converter in the head pipe. So yes, you might have a bigger engine, it might be a high output or whatever engine that you have. Their bike still might be just a little bit louder just because they don't have that catalytic converter in their exhaust system anymore. And if you do have the high output 117, it might not be quite as loud, but it's definitely gonna be more aggressive sounding, a little bit more lope at the idle, just because of that high output motor that they have in it now. I'll have some sound clips at the end of the video, so if you're here for that, you can just skip right to the end. But to begin, we're just gonna go through the install. So we have one clamp and two bolts. We just have to loosen the clamp and back out the two bolts. Our clamp's gonna be right here at the front of the muffler. And we have two Allen head screws there and there, and that'll be a 3/16. So we're gonna loosen that clamp and take those two bolts out. Then we're just gonna jiggle the muffler off. If you're having trouble getting it off, just spray some WD-40 where that joint is, where the muffler meets the header, and it should help. And then save this clamp. We're gonna use that on the Tab Performance muffler. If you just had this thing running, the clamp will be pretty hot, so you might need to wear a glove. And you wanna orient the clamp so that the nut on it is facing down and out towards you, so that way you can access it. And to begin, we need to be aware of where we orient this clamp, because if you have it too far forward, if the nut is too far forward, we're gonna run into the heat shield. And if it's too far backward, then we're gonna bump into the muffler bracket. So we'll just get it on where it looks right, then we'll put it up on here to see if we need to move it at all. And we'll know this clamp is in the right position when the mounting brackets on our muffler are flush with the bracket on the bike. So that's sitting nice and flush right there. And then my clamp, I'm not butting up against the heat shield there, and it's not butting up against the mounting bracket in the back. So that's where you want it. Now we're just gonna put our screws back in, tighten the clamp, and that's it. And I like to start with the front screw, just because when you get to the back, you have a little bit more wiggle room to kind of move the muffler around where it needs to be. Where in the front, it's kind of just set where it's at, so I like to get that one started first. And that is it. So like I said, very simple and straightforward install. That whole process took about 7 minutes. One thing to be aware of, if you got a few more miles than this bike does, this bike just rolled off the floor, that muffler might just be a little bit harder to wiggle off of there. Sometimes they can get kind of glued on there. So just one thing to be aware of, you might have to work a little bit more than I had to get that muffler off. But now all that's left to do is to wheel this thing outside and we'll see how it sounds.